Welcome to episode 21 of Land the Plane Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Land the Plane Podcast. My name is Dustin.
I'm Jonathan.
And we are back for episode 21. It's a new year, our first show of 2019, Jonathan.
And it's episode 21.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
21.
21.
Which is kind of crazy is 2019. I remember back to like Y2K and stuff thinking, yeah, it's just the year 2000 now. Now it's 2019.
Yeah, that was...
just depressing myself a little bit. Hey, let's move on.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, so it's a new year, and if you're tuning in
it's episode 21.
Episode 21. Jonathan's really focused on that. We've been laughing about it for a while tonight already. But it's if you're first time listener to the show, maybe your New Year's resolution was listening to more podcasts, and you found Land the Plane Podcast. Well, we're glad to have you. But we're just two guys, two average Joes who are dads, husbands, all those types of things, who are just trying to figure out this thing called life. If no matter where you're at in your spiritual walk, whether if you're a believer, new believer, non-believer, wherever you're at,
old believer. We like old people too.
Yeah, we love them all. So. We hope you find something in this show as we go down the journey to land the plane. But it's here. It's a new start, Jonathan. We can do whatever we want to tonight.
And we pretty much do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Did you have a good break? We've had a few months off, kind of almost. We had a couple of shows come out at the end, but we had some time off and enjoying the holidays and getting back in the swing of things now, so we're ready to kind of kick it off. But
yeah.
You did some traveling over the holidays, didn't you? I
did. We went to about as far east as you can go in Tennessee without going into North Carolina, Virginia. And actually, we did spend a little bit of time in North Carolina. So we went up there with family. That's where my family and my wife's family are from. And went up there. And actually, we went to a state park that has cabins and rented a bunch of cabins and just hung out at the state park all week. There was
like a lot of people and stuff too, wasn't it? Like a big family?
Yeah, I think all total, when everybody was there were 20, 19, 21, 23. I don't know.
That's cool.
It was a lot of us. One particular thing about this place is there's no cell phone coverage. And there's
not a bad thing.
And in most of the cabins, there's no internet. So I was unplugged. And it was pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. I went to Gotham.
Okay.
where Batman lives.
What? How did...
my brother, my very generous brother, this Christmas decided he wanted to do something special for my family, and he got us the PlayStation VR system that you wear in your head, and you go into virtual reality. And I went to Gotham for a few hours.
Well, there you go.
I was Batman for real, dude. I know you got a story you want to tell us, but I had this moment where I was looking at the bat suit, and I put it on in virtual reality. Like, I even had to reach out and get the cowl and put it on my head. And then I looked in the screen, and it was Batman.
So you were Batman.
If I raised my arm and waved at it, he was waving, but it was me.
That's
Batman.
Pretty cool.
I'm Batman, Jonathan. You can be Batman. Robin if you want.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's okay.
It was cool. It's very fun. I almost got sick a few times because I get motion sickness.
It's even more fun when you hurl.
But it's great, man. It's fun playing. The whole family's been playing. It's good.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
I didn't mean to one up you there with going to Gotham versus the woods of Tennessee, but you go ahead with your story.
Yeah, Gotham sounds cool.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
But I mean, I do have a story if you want to.
I do. I love stories. Your stories are very popular on this podcast. People love your story. I think it's the way you tell them. You got that sultry voice over there. And you just reel people in.
Just come listen to my story.
Good story.
About a man named Jed, poor mountaineer. But anyway, that's not the story.
Mm-hmm.
So we all end up getting into the cabins like on Sunday the 23rd. It was kind of in the evening, and we wanted some decorations like Christmas tree. I mean, you got to have a Christmas tree, right? You know?
Right. I mean, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
You don't be that guy.
Yeah. Or that whole family.
Yeah.
You know. So we decided, hey, we'll try to get at least one Christmas tree, and then we'll get some other decorations and decorate other cabins up, that kind of thing. So we thought we'll just go find a live tree place. And at this point, we tried to go Sunday night. People were closed, stuff like that. So we went Monday morning and went to the town that was about 30 minutes away, thinking, man, we're going to get a deal on a tree. Because if you've not sold your tree by Christmas Eve, I mean, you're probably ready to slash some prices, you know?
Yeah, I'd imagine. But can I ask a quick question? You were at a cabin in the woods. Why don't you just go out in the backyard and cut down a tree?
Well, that's a good way to either get arrested on, like on the National Forest area.
Yeah.
Or if you go like to somebody's property, get shot.
Well,
it was Tennessee.
Depends on how dedicated you are at Christmas. But, if you're afraid of getting arrested or getting shot or ruining Christmas, then go ahead with your story.
Do it the other way.
Go the old-fashioned way and buy a tree.
So we, started looking for trees. Went to the normal, went to Lowe's, nothing. Went to Walmart, nothing. Went to a place that we've seen in the past they always have trees and wreaths and all kinds of stuff. Nothing. And we're talking to them, and they had actually sold over 500 cut trees, and it was like the biggest year they've ever had. And they actually told us there's basically no cut trees in the whole area. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had, because they're partners with quite a few of the little, kind of the little stands. And one thing they did have though is it's basically, if you look at a wreath, it's just a circle, right? And then they tie the extra trimmings and stuff like that from trees around it to make a wreath.
Yep.
Well, if you imagine a piece of like steel or whatever that's in the shape of a Christmas tree, and then they tie the trimmings and all that kind of stuff to it, and it basically makes like a Christmas tree shaped wreath. You know? So we saw those, and it's like, hey, you know what? Let's just do this. At this point, we had literally been looking probably over an hour at different places, and we're like, you know what? This is as good as it's going to get. Let's just go on. And so we went ahead and got a couple of those and started back up towards the cabins. Well, we got out of town about halfway up toward the mountain, and on the right, because there's all kinds of Christmas tree farms there, which made us not sure why we couldn't find a Christmas tree. But anyway, in this one particular Christmas tree farm, we noticed along the side of the road, it looked like they had the previous year maybe pulled up some trees that weren't doing so well and thrown them down, and they were just laying there. Like if you can think of a really terrible looking Christmas tree and then lay it down on the ground for a year. Okay. That's what they look like. And so we had been talking the whole time about a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not really sure how you explain what a Charlie Brown Christmas tree is if you don't know. But
probably most people know.
Yeah, the show Charlie Brown, they have the big Christmas show, and they get a really, really ugly tree. So we thought, man, how funny would it be to just show up with a Charlie Brown Christmas tree? Just some ugly whatever tree. So we pull in, have to kind of go back to the back of the Christmas tree farm and start making our way up through it because we're just going to pick one of these up that's just been laying on the ground.
Yeah.
End up almost getting stuck. We're in my brother's truck, and he ends up putting it in 4-wheel drive. And I literally thought at one point, great, we're stuck.
That'd have been a good story, too.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome. So get turned around, get back out, and as we're leaving the tree farm, on our left, we look over and see this little tree. It's like 4 feet tall, deader than dead can be. But as opposed to the way the other ones look, this one actually, I mean, it was in the ground still.
So it was standing up.
Standing up in the ground. And it had just dropped all of its needles.
The naked tree.
You know, wow. It's a family show.
It's a naked tree.
So yeah, I mean, basically all of its branches are there, no needles. So it's like you can't get a better Charlie Brown Christmas tree than that right there. Mm-hmm. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, kind of dared each other a little bit, you know, all that kind of stuff, and decided, all right, we're getting this thing. I mean, it's a dead tree. So me and my cousin jump out of the truck and go over there. And dude, as soon as we bend over and like grab a hold of this tree to pick it up, one, I'm already laughing so hard because of just the absurdity of the situation. You know, we're like 3 grown men out here in the middle of a Christmas tree farm pulling a dead tree out of the ground to take it and use it as our Christmas tree.
And you're pulling it. That's the part that cracks me. You're pulling it out of the ground. No saw or anything to cut it down.
No, because I mean it's dead, so the roots are just, you know,
just gonna rip it out.
We're just going to rip it out of the ground. So we grab a hold of it and start to pull it out of the ground. And from my brother's truck, I hear the Charlie Brown Christmas tree or Christmas show theme song playing. You know, the little piano kind of going. And he and I both kind of look at each other and just bust out laughing. And so we finally get this tree out. And as we're walking back towards the truck, I look at my cousin. I'm like, that is the funniest thing my brother has ever done. Like, that was hilarious.
To be able to pull that off.
To be able to pull that off. I thought he just pulled it up on his phone, you know, and popped it in, played it. Little did we know, once we got back into the car, we were like, dude, that's funny. And he said, it came on the radio. Like, as soon as y'all bent over to get that thing, the song came on the radio, and I just had to crank it up.
It's like the Christmas star.
Yeah.
Just shone down.
Oh, yeah. It is a total Christmas miracle right there. But then it actually kind of got even funnier because across the street from where that was, you could see a little house, and there were 2 Christmas trees just laying in the front yard, just live Christmas trees cut, laying there. And you could tell this is where they'd kind of sold some trees out of the tree farm, that kind of thing. So we were like, hey, you know, I mean, the sign on the door said closed. I don't guess we really cared because we went and knocked anyway. And so knocked on the door and just kind of told her, hey, we're, you know, families getting together for Christmas from all over the place. We're from Arkansas. Cousins are from Memphis. We got other family coming over, you know, all those kind of things. And just wondering, hey, can we buy one of these trees? And she looks and kind of looks at the trees, and she was like, you can have them. You want both of them? And
after you ripped one tree out of the ground across the street.
Well, you know, we didn't really talk about that one. But she literally just was like, hey, I'll give you both of those trees. In fact, hey, come back here. You want some garland? And what she would do, she would make like long pieces of garland out of tree trimmings and stuff and weave it together and all that. And she gave us, I think, a 25-foot, like 2 25-foot pieces, and then a 50-foot piece, I think, of garland, which I don't even want to know how much those things would have been.
That'd been a lot
to
of money.
buy them.
There's no doubt in my mind.
You know, yeah.
Handmade.
And so then we get these trees. One of them's like a 6, maybe 7-foot tree. The other one had to be, it was between 8 and 9 feet, probably. Wow. Huge tree. Like so big when we ended up taking it into the cabin. I mean, it was tough to get it through the door You know, I mean, you had to bend stuff around, all that kind of stuff. But it was just super cool that the whole morning, it was just funny too, that the whole morning we're looking for trees and all that kind of stuff and kind of give up and then end up finding the Charlie Brown Christmas tree and then end up getting not one, but 2 cut trees and basically for free. Well, she ended up taking a little bit of money, but nothing. I mean, we probably walked off with, and she even threw in a tree stand. We probably had like over $200 worth of stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I think
she ended up taking, tree cost you $60, $70.
Yeah, she ended up taking like $20.
Wow.
Or something. So it was just, I don't know, the whole Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
So what did you do with the Charlie Brown Christmas tree? Did you put it up?
We decorated it up.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we put it in a little crate and put it in the corner of the cabin and put little red ribbons all over it. It was, if I can remember, I'll throw it in the show notes. I've got several pictures. I'll throw some pictures in the show notes.
Yeah, I was gonna be disappointed if you threw it, like just threw it out.
Oh no,
backyard,
no.
wherever you got there.
That sucker was, I'm telling you, nice tree. Like you could find a tree similar to this, but fake in like a store or something. It was just really cool. You'll have to see the picture.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it is holidays, but it is that New Year's time where we kind of start over. That's where we're going to get into the meat of today's episode and get talking about a topic a little bit tonight. Is, they have that whole word, Jonathan, called resolutions.
Yeah, it's a dirty word.
Yeah, I've said many times I'm not a fan of it, so I'm not going to go down that road again, even though I just did. But, but it is, I do think...
You should be a man of your word.
I'm trying. That should be your resolution.
Yeah.
But it is a time. It's a fresh start. A lot of times, you're beginning the year over. It is a good time to make some changes in life, and I think that's important. So what we thought we had discussed tonight is some changes that we've kind of decided each independently. Of what some of the changes we want to see in our lives from 2018 to 2019. Talk about that a little bit. We even put it out on social media on Instagram. At Land the Plane Today. If you don't follow, go follow. But we put the question out there and just got a few responses that we thought we would share too. And just kind of talk about, these changes and maybe why to make them, maybe even a little bit of how to make them. But that's of course, the biggest challenge. So I don't know where we want to start, but I think a typical one, and this is one for me, is, everybody's like, January 1st, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get back in the gym. I'm going to do all that stuff. And I need to do that. But, for me, when we talk about getting healthy, I don't want to lose weight, Jonathan. Does that make sense? I do want to lose weight, but I don't want my focus to be losing weight.
Want it to be more about just health.
Just overall health.
Yeah.
Just getting in a shape besides round, and
hair.
Getting healthy, getting to that point where you can go out and enjoy life and kind of get back into the swing of things. One of our listeners, Benita, she actually put out on Instagram. She said that she's been going to the gym for 12 years. Okay, first of all, you don't have to brag, all right? 12 years. No, but then she said she took 2 months off and she's excited and ready to get back into the gym. I'm just not there. When I do go to the gym, like when I'm in the habit of going to the gym, I do enjoy it. Yeah.
It does feel good.
So,
well, it feels good afterwards. I've never been at the gym and just thought, this is awesome. It's normally like after the gym.
Yeah, I wish I was one of those people that could just like love to work out. Like The Rock, and he's always doing these workouts and stuff I wish I was that guy.
Yeah.
Just to be excited about it. But, I think it's important to worry about our health because, one, we're not getting any younger, but two, there's a lot of people that count on you. One, it's being a dad, being a husband, being a parent, being a wife if you're out there. It's important to be healthy and to work on your health a little bit. And that's what I try to use to motivate me, not just, I want to lose weight because I want to look better when I look in the mirror, you know, because that would be hard to do, to look better when I look in the mirror, because it's a thing of beauty. But no, just the idea of being more healthy and understanding that life is a gift. You know, it's we're given this thing called life, and not taking it for granted and treating my body so poorly. So I think that is a change I need to make. I need to get better at. How I'm going to do it, I haven't completely figured it out yet, Jonathan. I'm still working on it.
Just don't take the next 11 and a half months to figure it out.
Well, I'm a planner, you know. Actually, I'm not a planner at all. I usually just do stuff.
Well, maybe that's what you should do then.
Just do it?
Yeah, just do it. It's tomorrow morning. Just go to the gym.
Whoa. On a Friday?
Why not?
Start on a Friday? Let's pause the show right now and we'll just go to the gym.
Okay.
We're back. Got my sweat on.
Man, that felt good.
Woo! So tired. Energized. But anyways, so yeah, I know that's a common change for people, common resolution, getting healthy, not to sound, but yeah, I need to do it, John. Do it.
Yeah, I've started something as well, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, what is it?
Just eating differently.
I thought you were
kind of thing.
changing the topic.
I was saying I've started a diet of sorts.
Being there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's something you're bringing to the table tonight, Jonathan?
Just started looking around at all the things that I have on the table. I kind of hate the resolution thing as well. And I think for me, it's just because I've failed at so many of them that it's like, bah, why start something?
Right.
You know? So I don't want it to be, and even with this diet kind of thing, like I don't want it to be a New Year's resolution. I want it to just be just kind of a life change in general, you know? But as far as goals for 2019, you know, one goal I have is to read the Bible all the way through. Started doing that last year, did pretty well. But this year I'm actually doing something a little differently. I've actually got a 1-year Bible that's laid out for doing just that, you know. So it has all the readings right there next to each other. And it's also a different translation. It's a New Living Translation. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a little bit easier. And it just flows really easily.
It's
when
probably
you're
more like
it.
reading a book, you know,
book,
like
yeah.
when you'd read a typical story.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an easier read.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to do that. Also,
when you said you were going to do it differently this year,
yeah.
I thought you just were going to say you were going to finish it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Why do you think people? I mean, because I've tried to do it before. I mean, I've read the whole Bible through, but it wasn't like a year reading plan.
Yeah.
But why do you think it's so hard to do it?
I think the times when I have struggled with it is when I get behind a little bit. You know, like if you go on vacation or if your schedule changes or whatever, and anything kind of gets you out of whatever routine you're in, whatever kind of rhythm you're in, and you end up finding yourself 4 or 5, 6 days behind, then it just seems insurmountable. You know, it just seems like, holy cow, I can't, you know, because it does, I mean, it takes 10 to 15 minutes a day, which is not a huge amount of time to invest. But it does take some time. But then if you miss a week, then I think there's something in us that's like, no, I have to catch up. I can't just start, you know, wherever I'm at. So that's going to be something different that I do this year is, you know, if we have something weird, just get out of schedule, whatever, and I end up getting 2 or 3, 4 days behind, I probably, if I'm just like a couple of days, then I'll catch up. But if I'm 4 or 5 days behind, I'm probably just going to start on the day that I'm supposed to and just go.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about that because I think it's a lot of times with these changes we make, we put some undue pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, that I have to have it done by this time or I have to do this. And sometimes even I think about like working out or trying to get, healthy. We make some very extreme decisions. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I was eating cheeseburgers, nachos, tacos for lunch yesterday. And now today I'm just going to eat like 3 leaves of lettuce.
Yeah, and that's all.
And that's going to be my change.
Yeah.
It is too much sometimes at one time.
We have delusions of grandeur when we should probably have delusions of adequacy.
Yeah. And I think about that with reading the Bible and trying to get it done that year. Also, we start putting pressure on ourselves. I have to get it done by December 31st.
Yeah.
If I don't, well, what's going to happen? You're not gonna go
I'm
sleep
not going
that
to
night
answer that.
and get struck by lightning. Like Jesus is gonna be like, "You did not finish on time." No, that was a very mean
That
Jesus.
was Yoda Jesus or something.
But it's like, and I find myself doing this a lot. I'll put pressure on myself to get something done or to do something, and it's really a pressure I don't need, and it actually ends up discouraging me in the long run.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, yeah, I'm too far behind. I just might as well quit.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to reading your Bible, is it better to just be behind or just quit? I would say just be behind. Yeah. And if you
or
realize,
just skip a few chapters and just immediately catch up and go.
yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's gonna get arrested. You ain't gonna get put in jail.
Right.
You
Yeah.
ain't gonna struck down.
And it's the same with, like you say, it's kind of the same with everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes perfection is our worst enemy. Trying to be perfect at the gym or trying to be perfect at the weight loss, trying to be perfect at whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then we're setting ourselves up for failure. That's just all there is to it, because we can't be perfect. So it's like, oh, I messed it up, so I'm just going to quit.
It's just like you got to give yourself goals, and they got to be reasonable goals and something you can actually achieve, and then go for it. Because if you overwhelm yourself, I just think you're setting up for failure. And when it comes to reading your Bible every day, if you're going anywhere from reading it fully in a year to just reading every day, there might be a day you miss. Don't quit. Just keep going, and play catch up.
Yeah. And two, with that, even don't even, just because, like, don't worry about even maybe reading the whole Bible. Pick out, do the New Testament, right, or do the Old Testament. Most people are a lot more familiar with the New Testament, so pick up the Old Testament and go through it.
And if you're out there thinking about doing this, I don't know if I would recommend to you, if you don't read your Bible consistently now, which I'm not calling you out, just if you don't, I don't know if I would challenge you to read the whole thing in a year. Like, I don't know if that'd be what I would tell you to do. Well, read the whole thing over the next year, because that just might be too much, Start somewhere, though, and yeah, that's a good point. Excuse me. Well, we need to keep rolling here. Another one I want to get into, Jonathan, and this one might speak to you a little bit too, is
Speak to me.
Well, it was suggested by several people. We have a follow on Instagram called Hoot and Howl Tales. They're a blogger, and you go check them out. But it says like cutting down on phone time, or unplugging a little bit. And you mentioned unplugging going up to Tennessee for your Christmas break there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I need to do a little bit more. Not that I'd like to sit here and say I don't think I have a problem with it, but I know I do. At the same time, it's like I'm not that bad, but it's still enough where I catch myself realizing that I'm on it too much and wanting to get off of it. Now,
we're probably the worst people to tell us whether or not we have a problem.
Yeah,
it's
probably
we probably need to ask other people.
Because it's like, and it's not that we're definitely not saying you should throw your phone in the trash or anything like that, or never be on your phone, or that your phone or any other device doesn't offer some good uses. What we're saying is,
send your phone to us. and that way you're not tempted by it.
There you go.
But it can be put to good use.
Unless it's the way you listen to the podcast, then keep it.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying is like there's times I know that my kids are doing something or they're watching a program on TV that I don't care about or I'm not really that interested in. So I'm like, well, they're doing that. I'll just pick up my phone and do what I want to do. And then I look around. I actually look. All four, I have 6 people in my house, my family, but 4 of them are old enough and we have phones, including me. And I know sometimes we'll have the TV on and then I'll get distracted on my phone and then I'll look up and all 4 of us are on our phone and nobody's even watching the TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing? So I just think we've been trying to play like more board games and interactive type games. We got a few for Christmas, and that's been really nice. Where we just get away from the TV and just sit around and do that. And and sometimes it takes an effort. It's one of those almost like going to the gym where it's like I don't really want to do that, but then once I start doing it, I'm glad I did.
It's fun, yeah. We ended up getting. Obviously, we took a lot of games with us to Christmas for playing in the cabin and stuff. But we ended up getting a gift. It was Harry Potter Clue. Clue.
Yeah.
Like Professor whatever. Yeah.
Colonel Mustard.
And all those guys.
Branch in the library.
So it's that, but it's all Harry Potter based.
Yeah.
And there's they've made changes to the game enough that like passages and things like that can actually change. Doorways can open and close. There's things that you lose points, like house points, and if you lose so many, you're out of the game. Like you don't even get an option to guess or whatever. You're just like, yep, I'm out. I'm done. So it's pretty cool.
We got one called One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Which
wow.
Yeah, it sounds weird and probably something like what in the world's that? But it's one of the funnest games I've ever played. It only takes like 10 minutes to play. So you can play like several times in a row.
Wow.
And it's a game of like trying to figure things out and trying to form secret teams. It's a lot of fun and it gives you that opportunity. See, a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to unplug. Well, what are you going to do? You have to replace it with something. You can't.
Yeah, normally we think of unplugging as I'm just going to sit here and act like a zombie.
Yeah,
watching the TV. So you didn't really unplug.
I'm putting my phone down so I can watch TV. It's just, and it's something. We definitely don't want to sound hypocritical here, especially as we go through some of these topics because
we don't want to sound that way, but we pretty much are.
Yeah, because yes, we do want you to take time to listen to the podcast, and you should. And there's going to be things on your phone that you could and should do and TV programs you like to watch, and we're not trying to say don't do that, but I just know there's times where I need to turn it off, set it down, and just focus on those people around me instead of just letting everybody be in their own little cocoon, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I agree. Probably be a good idea. And with that, probably be a good idea maybe even to change. Like if you're on social media and all that kind of stuff, wonder what kind of changes we could make, just how we interact with social media, especially Facebook. Instagram and Twitter, you can get into Twitter wars, I guess.
Yeah.
But it seems like Facebook is the worst. Just as far as, somebody will post something and then everybody else will put their opinion. And then, by the end of it, everybody's putting their 2 cents in and just turns into a nasty fight. And I don't know. Yeah,
I definitely agree with social media. And I know I've said this to you in recent weeks of if it wasn't for this podcast, Jonathan, I think I'd quit all social media because it's just been wearing me out lately. And I know, again, hypocritical. We use social media to try to spread the word because we're trying to get these messages out there. Then we're not saying don't ever be on social media.
Right.
But I guess
it's just warnings about negative sides of social media. So how can we emphasize the positive sides of things and downplay or stop, don't be a part of the negative.
Yeah, and I'm going to get real specific, Jonathan. Maybe I shouldn't, but,
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
He even took his glasses off.
I did take my
folks.
glasses. I can't hardly see it now. But, there's enough agendas in this world that we have to deal with by watching the news and watching everything else that goes on in the world that I'm not sure Facebook is the place to, what's the word I want to use? Change the world.
Yeah.
Accuse the world. Attack people that don't think the same way that you do. There's so many things on there, and when I get on those, and the reason I want to unplug from them and get off of them sometimes is not because I do post stuff on there. I usually post some pictures for my family or friends or just some silly stuff. I don't get a lot real serious on social media, but it's dangerous to me, man. If I get on there and start getting into these arguments and discussions with people, and it's about all the stuff that's going on in the world or opinions of the world or let's fight about this, let's fight about that. I know some people enjoy that more than I do, obviously, but it is destructive to me.
Yeah.
I
agree.
It tears me down and it makes me want to, it can ruin my day, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It can just change my whole thought process of the day. And then, yeah.
And because people are they're prone to be more rude and all that kind of stuff on social media simply because you can't see who is in front of you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a lot of things that people would say, they would not say to somebody's face, because they'd be afraid they'd get clobbered or something. The whole keyboard warrior, kind of thing. But, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say this. And this is not pointing at any one person or group or anything like that. But if you are on a Christian type blog or like a Christian type post, anything like that, or you are a Christian and you see an atheist post, all those kind of things, just stop it. As far as arguments and all those kind of things, you are not going to win an argument on social media. You're just not. And most likely you are just going to further alienate whoever you're trying to convince. And especially if you're a Christian and you're tearing down other Christians, even if they don't believe the exact same way as you, all that kind of stuff, just stop. You're not doing anybody any good. In fact, you're opposing what Jesus prayed for right before he went to the cross, because his biggest prayer that we know of was all about. Most of it was about our love for one another and unity together, and the whole. Well, I believe this way and you believe that way, and getting into fights and crap on social media just for the whole world to see, it's just ridiculous. So just stop.
Yeah. And
sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
No, there's not too many times on the show where we just come out and say, just quit. But this is one of those things, y'all, where we really need to examine ourselves and say, what am I doing? What's the point? Because it's so bad. And if you get on social media and it changes your emotional state, okay? And I'm not saying you watched a little sweet video of a kid. I watched one the other day of a kid was given a Christmas present. When he opened it, it was him being told he was adopted, into this family.
Yeah.
That's great. That's all day long. It made me tear up. It's a
positive thing.
Yeah, it made me tear up. It changed my emotional state. It made me think, what a great story. But if something is fueling anger, if it's fueling even depression sometimes, if it's fueling sadness, if it's fueling these things that aren't good for you, that aren't beneficial for your life, they're tearing you down instead of lifting you up, or they're causing you to tear others down, or all these things, don't do it. Free yourself.
Don't do it.
Free yourself from it. It's not worth it. It's really, because it's not good for you.
Yeah. Or anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I use Twitter. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. I'm even on Snapchat. I never use Snapchat. My students I work with were like, "Yeah, I get Snapchat," and they don't snap me. I don't snap them. It's just not something I do much. But the other three I use more. Twitter, a lot for information and stuff. Facebook for keeping up with folks and sometimes. But yeah, if you can't, if it's that got kind of control on you, let it go. Let it go, because I just know it can change me in a heartbeat if I look at the wrong post or if I see the wrong thing. And you also got to remember too, what percentage, Jonathan, would you say the stuff you see on social media just ain't a real representation of somebody's life? I'd probably say
98.3.
It's pretty got to be high.
Oh, yeah.
It got to be high.
Well, I mean, you can tell that by how many, and I'm picking on girls, I guess, here. Yeah, I am. When they, take a selfie, take a selfie, take another selfie, take another selfie, take another selfie, and trying to get that exact perfect selfie. And then they post like, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Whatever. They don't post, whew, finally got a good selfie out of 100 that I tried to take.
Yep.
It's a, but I mean, it's the kind of the same way. I mean, how many times is our front yard, does it look kind of nice and clean and all that kind of stuff, but our backyard is kind of real junked up? We're portraying the best of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not the real us. The real us is, who you show to friends and all those kind of things. So, yeah, it's easy to be fake. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to be just kind of the worst version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you're walking away from it, like I said, just feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling angry, it's just not worth it. It's just not. And just
what other entertainment is there that's like that? I mean, if we went to a movie and it just made us terribly sad and depressed and anxious, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's a terrible movie. I mean, maybe a tearjerker sad movie or something, but there's normally like good things from that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you seriously go to a movie and you walk out and you're depressed about your own life or you're angry, all those kind of things, that doesn't even make sense.
Right. It's like you go watch, I'm going to use a basketball game because I love basketball, and you're going to go to a basketball game and you're going to sit on the first row, the best seat in the house. Nobody's going to get in the way. Nobody's going to block it. You're excited. And then every 5 seconds you get hit in the face with a basketball. It's like, but by the time it's done, you didn't have a good time. You might have thought it was going to be a good time, but at the end, you just got beat up.
Yep.
You didn't have a good time. And it use it for the good things, and you'll have a good time. But it really boils down to just don't let your self-worth be defined by social media.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
And don't try to define others' worth.
Right.
Don't try to force something there.
Figure out who they are. Just Jesus.
Now I'm depressed.
Jesus loves us all, Jonathan. We'll build it back up.
Now everybody's going to be depressed listening to this podcast.
I know,
So we just
I'm jerks.
shot ourselves in the foot there.
Telling me I can't do
Yeah.
social media. We're not telling you not to do social media. Be careful. It's one of those things I'm wanting to change.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved in that stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I see sometimes, the memories, those kind of things will pop up. And some of them are posts that I made, 7, 8, 9, whatever years ago. And I have noticed some of them are like political statements or whatever. I'm just like, That was stupid. Why?
Thinking.
Why? What is the point?
Yeah. Yeah. That's just one of those changes I want to make. Probably got off a little bit of soapbox, but I know a lot of people deal with it. So, anything else you want to change since 2018, Jonathan? Anything else?
Oh, there's a lot, but
out there floating around.
You know,
we could go on all day, probably.
It's an hour show.
Mm-hmm. So, we'll probably, I guess, land the plane here, and that's going to be with a little bit of might be a little bit longer than normal land the plane because we want to give you some tips. If you're really serious about making some changes in your life, here's some things that might help. One, I'm going to challenge you to ask yourself, what's the motivation? Why do you want to change whatever you're changing? Is it for you? Is it for other people? Who's it for? I mean, what's the purpose behind it? Yeah, because if you got the wrong motivation, if you're doing it for somebody else and they don't care in the long run, you know, what's the point? So, what's your motivation? Who you doing it for? Make sure when you make changes in your life, make them achievable. What are you gonna do? Like, I'm gonna go January 1st. I'm gonna run a 5K. Well, that would not have happened.
Yeah.
You got.
I could walk a 5K.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I could drive it easy, like a boss. But make your goals achievable. Make the changes you want to make achievable.
Yeah.
Small steps.
Incrementing steps. Incrementing steps.
This is the first one.
Yeah.
And then maybe throw some accountability out there. Find you somebody to go along this journey with you that will be willing to ask you the tough questions, challenging questions, will be willing to challenge you because it's good for us to have somebody out there in our lives that will challenge and hold us accountable.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to have that. And two, doing that, you'll kind of be explaining why you're doing what you're doing, all those kind of things. And they'll actually be able to help you, to say, dude, it's out of your reach, man. You know, I mean, I know you'd love to be an NBA star by next year, but it's just not going to happen.
Right.
You know, or, hey, exactly how are you going to do this? You know, well, I'm going to work out 7 days a week. Yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is. Somebody on the outside looking in a lot of times can help us rightly define our situation a little bit. So even not just accountability on, hey man, make sure I do this, but talk to them about what you're doing. You know, they may be able to help you out with that.
Yeah, and I think the last one is just because you might miss a day or you might mess up once or twice or have some hiccups in the path, the journey of your changes, don't give up. Don't use an excuse to give up. I know I'm very guilty of that, so I'm preaching to the choir right now. But just work at it. Don't give up just because you had some speed bumps and some bumps in the road. Because and I'm gonna compare it to our walk of faith and kind of wrap this thing up. Jesus calls us to live a certain way, and He calls us to be a witness for Him and a light for Him. And so many people will go to Him and say, "Hey, I can't come to you, Jesus, because I'm too screwed up, or I'm having trouble making these changes, or God, I can't be good enough or to walk with you or to have a relationship with you." Jesus will walk it with us. And I'm not going to say He's going to make you the NBA player, like Jonathan was referring to a minute ago, but He will walk with you, and He will help you through this. And you must have patience with yourself, and don't hold yourself to some ridiculous level of expectations. Jesus loves you the way you are, and the things that you need to change and you need to work on, if it's genuine, He will help you through that and walk with you as well. So when it comes to your faith walk, especially if you're working on your faith walk, know Jesus is there, and He's not going to give up, and He's going to be patient with you. But
yep.
So
absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's the show, Jonathan.
Boom.
First one of the year. A couple of things just to wrap this thing up, because I know we're pushing time here. We don't keep y'all too much longer, but I'm excited about this year. I am. We've been having some planning meetings. We've been talking some things, and it looks like we're going to have more guests this year. And I'm excited to hear what people bring. I'm excited to see what God does with this podcast over the next year, and I'm just really excited. I am. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to talking to some of these folks.
Yep, it's going to be fun. We're
going to swing for the fences some and see what we get.
Swing for the fences
when it comes to guests. So if anybody knows anybody famous that wants to come be on the show, go ahead and give us the hookup. We'll do that. No, but we're excited about where it's going. Hopefully we'll have a guest next week or next show.
Next show.
Not next week, but who knows?
That is the plan.
All right. But if you're new to the podcast, if you stumbled upon us, of course you can find us on all the social medias that we just talked about. Facebook, Instagram, at Land the Plane Today. Twitter's Land the Plane 247. We don't overwhelm you with too many posts, just maybe 1 or 2, 3 a week. So we'll keep it simple on you. Won't take up too much of your time. If you have a question for the show, you have any comments, you can always shoot us an email at landtheplanetoday@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your questions or ideas for topics or things that we can discuss on the show. And, of course, you can find the podcast pretty much anywhere, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, wherever they call it nowadays. We're on Spotify. I really don't know one you can't find it on, so go out there and find it.
But if you do have one that you can't find it on, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We'll get it on there. And I haven't mentioned this one in a while, but if you'd like to help support the show, you can head out to TeePublic.com and get yourself a Land the Plane t-shirt, and that helps support the show. But I think that's everything, John. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining the show. Back in the new year. We'll talk to y'all guys soon.
All right, y'all have a good evening, or a good afternoon, or a good morning.
Good day at work.
Good day at work, yeah. Or a good day on the weekend.
Don't yell at that person in the car next to you. Stop it.
They won't care anyway.